And we are live on the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the beautiful world of video games and video game culture and everything in between there. As usual, I think I'm still Dolly Domovsky. I try to remember. I have my family usually yell at me my name, then I know it's my name. Joining me as usual, right there on your screens will be the __JJ Holder. How's it going, JJ?
Oh, it's going great.
It's going great.
Yeah. Having a good day today.
Having a day. I always love your rooms because you have all that awesome, like...
Got a bunch of bullshit hanging out in the background.
It's just so cool.
Glance at, see what's going on now.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's not like Phil Spencer. Like, I have to find out what project you're working on by what's on your shelf in the background.
Yeah,
and I'm going to point to this guy. Yeah, there you go. Blue Ranger working on Power Rangers. Yeah. Right over here. It's funny. I have to look at my camera and find out where it's actually going. The one, the only... Aerial Knight, Neil Jones. How is it going? I'm going to call you both throughout this episode. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking me on. Yeah, we set this up super quick. I think you asked me yesterday.
I think it was like as soon as the Nintendo event ended, and I'm like, dude, congrats. Also, are you free? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Sounds good.
Yeah, I try to do as many as I can, but cool. You weren't the only one. I got
I can imagine.
I got like 50 invites.
It's cool. I mean, I can't even imagine like all the how swamped you are, and you're going to continue to be for a while now. That's got to be awesome. Like, so I want right now. I'm going to let everybody know the game is that you're developing. I'm actually going to show it right now. Here we go. I'm going to hit the play button. This is the video. Oops, here. Aerial Knights Never Yield.
Yeah, don't look at them comments.
Yeah, never look at the comments. I'm gonna turn off the audio for a second here so we can
specifically YouTube comments.
Like, yeah, I think we've all
specifically YouTube comments.
You'll only get good comments from us here. So, like, first and foremost, like, dude, it looks awesome. Like the art style, from like top to bottom art style. I was playing the demo earlier and like dying a lot, as I'm very good at doing that in any type of runner game, any type of platformer game. But I'm well known on the site for being pretty horrible. But I completely enjoyed in this mode too, which is kind of the bonus stage modes. Completely enjoyed just like sitting back and watching, looking at the game, looking at everything that you were doing with it. So I mean, kudos to you for really working the style into the game.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I spent a long time just, doing art. It's been like 2 years just doing art and like doing a runner style game. We've been calling it a narrative runner because, it has a story, it has an ending. It doesn't go on forever. But yeah, it's still a ton of art. If the character wasn't running, if you were just walking, it'd be like, the game would be like 5 times or 10 times as long, just because. And then all of the art was like, pretty much handmade or hand modeled. So yeah, just a lot of time doing art that people are gonna run by in a second and never even think about.
Well, I mean, that's you're right. You're constantly running, and you do mention it's a narrative runner, and there actually are some cool kind of narrative elements. Even the demo, I noticed a couple cool things here and there. But yeah, sometimes you're moving so fast in a lot of games like this that you don't get a chance to really kind of enjoy the visuals. But I think one of the things that really kind of turned me on was the way you guys have been really kind of developing the style, where it's not like. There's not like a bajillion tiny little details, but there are just enough details that something will catch your eye and you'll be like, oh, oops, I died. I'm going to go back and see that again because I just missed that, So it's almost like it's tempting me to kind of, replay the section again. I mean, that scene right there, even the grass when you're running through the forest and kind of that one of the first parts of the level 1 stage is pretty cool. But yeah, I think to me, I think what was it you've mentioned, or it's been described as like a kind of a Tokyo, Neo Tokyo / futuristic Detroit.
Yeah, it's just like a combination of a lot of stuff that I liked. Like, Detroit, how Detroit feels. It's not like a one-to-one representation of Detroit at all. It's just, kind of, my like Gotham City version of Detroit. Maybe a little bit of like anime inspiration. And just mashing everything that I like together, really.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
I love it. I'm always a sucker for anything. It's like neon soaked version of a skyline or something. Like it's always.
I try not to overdo it because I
Yeah,
feel like
and
a lot
that's
of places, a lot of things overdo it.
exactly. No, it's the exact right subtle amount of that kind of thing going on in there. It's really smooth and slick. I love the look of it all the way through.
Thanks.
Yeah, it definitely captures, even like I mentioned that bonus stage before, but it kind of it captures a lot of those cool little elements that I've been growing up on. A little bit of the nostalgia over the years. You mentioned some of the things that you've been into. I mean, for me, it's like I don't know if I'm consciously like seeing Akira in some of this, or maybe in the back of my mind it's like seeping through. But it's really kind of
the jacket.
It might be. It might be.
People relate to Akira. I put a jacket on him because originally I wanted it to like flow in the wind and do all these cool effects, but yeah, you don't want to do that with like an indie game and trying to it becomes a mess. So it became real static. But no, like I like Akira. I've only seen it once. I kind of like Akira. I don't love
it's
Akira.
not like me or all right.
Yeah, it's not my like, it's not where I was at when everybody was hyped up on it. I was like more still in the Power Rangers, Yu-Gi-Oh type of phase.
Sweet. And so I mean, we talked about the art and the kind of the style from there. The music was awesome. I mean, I could like listen to these tracks. You're going to have to put the soundtrack out. Actually, the soundtrack, there was a tweet by I think was it Head Up or someone that I may have even retweeted it, talking about the soundtrack. Tell me about the soundtrack, because the soundtrack's awesome on this.
Yeah, my friend Dan, Detroiter like us. I'm sure you ran into him. He's pretty much done the soundtracks or the music for all my little side projects. So he was like the only choice I was going to go to.
Dan Wilkins. Okay.
Yep, Daniel Wilkins. If you go to my Twitter, just scroll for like 2 seconds, you'll be able to find it. He did the whole soundtrack. I went to him with the first level, and I was like, man, I really need some music for this. It's supposed to be really anime like, and like Detroit / the Tokyo type of feel. And we spent like good 2 months going back and forth trying to get the first song, and nothing worked. And then I think I showed him a clip of Cowboy Bebop or something along those lines. It was most likely Cowboy Bebop. And we kind of just based it off of that at first, and then we put a little bit more hip hop in, and then it really, like, I remade the first level around that song, and then we kind of just did each song like that, where I would do the like basic outline of a level, give it to him, and tell him like the theming of the level and like where the story was going to be, and then he would try to do a song that kind of fit that, and then I would take the song and then like move like the level around a little bit more to kind of fit even more. So that's why the levels like kind of feel meshed well with the music, just because it was a lot of back and forth, and they were made at the same time.
It's funny is, as I was playing the demo earlier, there were times with the music, the way music's playing, that I almost kind of felt like the beat, there's a certain like, the rhythm is like asking me to like, all right, I need to hit left. I need to slide under or something. I don't know if it was subconscious or not, but it was almost like, maybe, well, whatever it is, you did a good job of it. Cause you guys did a great job, because it almost kind of leads me to kind of tap at the right time. So, and maybe it's just everything is synergy that way.
It's definitely weird, because it's not a what's it called?
Rhythm.
It's not a rhythm-based game.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like if you play the game on mute, it doesn't feel the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely, there's the synergy between the two is perfect. Like I said, it's not a rhythm game, but it has the feeling of a rhythm game almost. Like I know I'm not playing and I'm not doing the jumps to the BPM or anything, but it feels like you are, and they're so perfectly in tune with one another, the gameplay and the soundtrack, and it's fantastic. I loved it. I loved that music. That music felt so good in that game. Yeah.
That's gonna be soundtrack on repeat for sure. I think and the way that you get in a little bit of their narrative elements, and I know you in like other interviews and stuff, descriptions that you've put in is that like, you know, you're kind of bringing elements of like cultures that aren't really showcased in this way, and you're kind of bringing them to the forefront here, and it's kind of cool. You can see it in everything from the narrative side, which I think it was. I mean, you'll explain it better than I will in a second here, but from the narrative side to even the way that the character kind of jumps and does the motions and stuff. I'm like, this is different than what I typically see of like Mario doing jumps on a speed run, or, you know, other runners. Like, there's actual emotion and there's actual like feeling to everything that's kind of happening in here. There's like a purpose to everything.
Yeah. So like if you look at the character, like you can tell like, he has like one like, you know, metal leg, and I kind of like have him favor that because that's where he gets like all his speed and, you know, the light, you know, enhanced abilities from. And as far as the story goes, you know, with all of that and it being tied into it, I intentionally leave it, you know, very vague. You know, I have those cutscenes that happen at the beginning of each level, but I definitely leave it up to like players and, you know, just people who run across the game to try to figure it out, come to their own type of conclusion. And as far as, you know, adding culture and stuff into the game, there's more of the music and just, you know, doing stuff to the environment. Nothing, you know, super intentional, just kind of like stuff that I wanted to make or just felt like making that day. I would be like, hey, this would be cool in this level, and I would just make it and throw it in. And that's the best part of making like your own type of game. You don't really have to ask permission from anybody.
That's a great quote right there. You know, I love that. That's so true. How many folks are helping you on the project? Because then you mentioned Daniel and
so it was me for the first like year and a half, like pretty much more than half the game. The game was pretty much done before I got a publisher. I got a publisher and they played the game and was like, you know, this should probably be a little bit longer. And I was like, sure, you know, I need another year and some money to like get some help. So they helped me out with some porting issues, and then ID at Xbox helped out with, you know, getting some help with stuff that, you know, I couldn't do by myself. With, you know, a lot of like porting to like Xbox and looking into porting to other devices and stuff like that. And then I just spent like a bunch of time just making a bunch more levels, going back and forth with Dan. So it was me, Dan, and then I had assistance with, you know, porting from the publisher, and then two other guys from the studio called Ludopium. But, you know, that was it really.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
the initial prototype, I had some help from some people at LTU because I was just like trying to throw something together real quick, and like they really helped me with the prototype, and it was dope.
That's cool. LTU is for those that are listening is Lawrence Tech University over in Southfield, Michigan. There's surprisingly one of the few schools in the area that I know of that has a strong enough game development department there. So that's really cool. Anyway, so it's like a passion. It's like a passion project for you because you've had other projects. You know, scrolling through your site, you've done a bunch of stuff too, at different different amounts. But this feels like this is the one that's really been your focus and really been sort of that passion side.
Yeah, well, it was going to be my last game. I was I was kind of like tired of applying for jobs and trying to get into the game industry. And you know how it is in Michigan. We don't really get any like opportunities. And especially me, I traveled all over the country trying to like get an interview. Couldn't find my way in at all. It was going on like 10 years of me looking. Wow. So I was like, you know, I made my, you know, little side projects, you know, just to, you know, have, you know, something in my portfolio. But this one was like the first actual game that I was like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna make this game for me. If other people like it, cool. But if it totally bombs and everyone hates it, then, you know, I'm just gonna find something else. You know, I'm about to be 30. I still got time to find, you know, a career that's working out for me, right? I just happened to like, well, not me, but other people just happened to like kind of like the concept I came up with. So I got extremely lucky with the game that was going to be my last game.
That's awesome. And now, for all you know, you might be getting a bunch of calls.
Oh yeah,
we need you to work. Come on this project. That'd be cool. I mean, this is awesome. It's cool that like everybody has a different story. Every game dev has a different story, and everybody comes at games in a different way. And some folks never get that chance. Some folks finally get that chance. Seems like it to get that passion project. Some of us are just, I'm still just using RPG Maker, and I'm making games for my daughter and I now. But
hey, that's dope too.
That's dope. That's totally right. But so the game it's coming May, right?
Yep, May 19th.
Awesome. Switch and PC first. Is that the first two that have been announced? Everything. Okay, cool.
Awesome. On everything. PlayStation, both of them. Xbox, both of them.
Man, that porting PC process must have been a journey, right? Just learning all that.
It was a whole year. It was a whole year.
Wow.
The game was like, basically put together a while ago. But yeah, porting, localization. It's in multiple languages. I don't remember how many languages it's in. But yeah, it's a lot.
Fantastic. That's cool. So I'm looking at all the stuff on the wall behind you. I mean, you have everything from Black Panther to Cuphead to, everything in between. There's some awesome artwork back there. I want to ask you about some of the influences just overall. You mentioned Cowboy Bebop, which I hear from so many friends and stuff. And like, it's like noted JJ, I know, is a big fan. It's like noted around like anybody who grew up in any level of anime and like gaming is like it's like Cowboy Bebop. Like, all right, maybe I should eventually watch Cowboy Bebop. Maybe I'll get into it. But like,
it's not like crazy good. Like
it's not like the Bible of anime or anything.
Right. It's not like the Bible. It's just like really chill and solid.
Okay.
No, right. I feel like I know I'm gonna get so much crap, but I feel like it's like the Family Guy of anime, or how I'm trying to relate.
Okay.
But where it's a solid go-to.
Okay. All right.
But imagine like if Family Guy was like 3 seasons and it was all just masterpieces. Like you'd be like, I'm just gonna watch Family Guy. Whatever.
I love Family Guy too, so that's good.
Yeah, and I'm like most of the episodes of Cowboy Bebop are just like solid, good episodes. It's the Boondocks. Cowboy Bebop is the Boondocks of anime.
There you go.
Yeah,
got it. Sweet. Another awesome show.
It's also one of those ones that you can just say like, you can watch this one because there's not going to be something in it that's going to be like weird anime stuff that's going to put somebody off. Like, listen, there's no weird, your typical Japanese nonsense that people are really put off by with a lot of this stuff. Don't worry, he's not going to hit on a high school girl or something. It's fine.
I like all that weird anime.
Oh yeah. For me, I don't care, but for the person I'm recommending stuff to, you got to sort of be careful.
Nope.
Nope. They're going right.
They got
into the deep end.
You got experience there. You go. Put them right in the fire there. That's awesome. What
like you start them off with Death Note.
Oh
Death Note,
Death Note.
It has everything. You just throw them into the deep end. Be like, yo, if you like Death Note, then
sink or swim. You'll like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But if they hate Death Note, then anime just probably ain't for them in the first place.
You're not gonna find anything.
I think we're have to start an anime podcast after this. Teach Dolly the right because I grew up on like older anime like Record of Lodoss War and some other stuff. So I've really got to get into some of the newer classics.
Hey, the newer stuff is real good.
Yeah, there is some really cool stuff. Yeah, there's some good stuff out there. So I mean, you mentioned anime. What other what are other influences for you? Just gaming or pop culture or whatever. Like what other things influence you? Music, whatever.
It was really random over 2 years.
Yeah.
It's whatever kind of like hits you at the moment. Like you'll see the outfits in the game that you unlock is all references to 90s characters that were like, they were black, but and they were shown as like green and blue or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You'll see them with, I can't say any names because,
yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
Not gonna be like, oh, you stole this outfit or whatever. Okay, whatever. No, this is my interpretation of something that looks similar to that outfit. So.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I pulled from everything.
Cool.
It wasn't like a singular thing. But just like I said, anime, dope black comic books and TV shows and movies and stuff like that.
That's sweet. That's awesome. I think there's always like you mentioned. I mean, you can get new influences along the way and kind of embed those in there too. That's cool. So what to move on, what are you playing these days? I mean, do you even have time to play any games right now? Or I mean, or are you just head down, finish the project?
Yeah, it's like the past year, it's been pretty much head down, finish the project. But I did make a little bit of time to play Persona Royal. Then I played Persona Strikers. I finished that like last weekend.
Okay.
Man, those like I hate playing those type of games because they're so long that I could have played 3 other games instead of playing those one games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good.
That's the joke with the rest of the staff and me is I'll play like a JRPG and it'll just be like 18 episodes in a row on the podcast and I'm talking about like Octopath Traveler or Bravely Default and I'm not going to get into Persona yet at the moment. I'll wait till it comes out on Switch or whatever so I can have it handheld because that's all I'll be able to talk about. It's just too long for me. But they're great. I mean the I love the style of those games too. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, sweet. What's your I'm gonna throw something out there right now. What's your favorite game of all time? Like, what's your go-to?
No More Heroes.
That's no pressure. Oh, okay.
Yeah, No More Heroes.
No More Heroes rules.
That's it. We're getting Suda on. Yeah, I love that game. It's so good.
I haven't played. I played it once.
Okay.
And then I like sold my Wii to get a 360 or something like that. Yeah. But I always wanted to get it back. But then I kind of refused to play it again because I feel like it wouldn't live up to like my imagination.
Sure.
You need to lock those memories in place and just let it be how it is.
Yeah, I just remember like that game was just crazy. And like, but it made sense at the same time. It wasn't like it was random craziness, but it kept the story going, and it's not it embodies like his whole catalog and that studio's whole catalog of this all is like it has a feeling to it.
Sure,
you can't if you play one of the games, you'd be like, was this made by that studio or? Is this from like one of Suda's teams or whatever?
Yeah, Killer 7 and No More Heroes really aren't like similar games, but you can tell that the heart is from the same exact person. Yeah,
and it's the feeling of it more than anything. Like the choices that were made, and like you could really feel the person's like personality or humor through it. Which you don't really get in like a lot of games. A lot of games like you play it and you're like, this could have been made by anybody. This doesn't, the mechanics are cool, but I don't really feel anything from it.
Yeah. There's really only a couple of developers that like you can tell are like, oh, this is definitely a Suda game. This is definitely a Kojima game. Like you just know. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've been hesitant to pick it up again for that same reason because I know it's out on Switch right now. I'm like, if I play it, am I going to remember? Is it going to feel different now? Because that was really of its time back then, And they improved some stuff. I mean, it's in HD now, and the controls are I think slightly better too. But I'm like, it felt different back then with the Wii and all that stuff. Because I remember shaking that Wiimote, man. That was like a whole part of it.
That was the funniest thing. I love that part so much. But I never played 2. I missed out. I just didn't have a PlayStation at that time, or like I forgot what else it came on.
I think it came out on PS3 as well, right? I think the second one did.
Yeah. I think the second one did. And then. I ordered the 2 games from Limited Run. So
nice.
I don't even think I'm gonna play them. I'm just gonna look at them.
The boxes alone are visually stunning enough to.
If I ever get to go to like Grasshopper Studios or Meat Suit or whatever, I'm just gonna take them and be like, sign everything for me, please. You guys are awesome. But I'm definitely going to play 3. Like, I feel like 3 is a good jumping on point because I'm like, I don't have to compare it to 1, and I don't, it's been long enough.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
That's cool. So what was it like? All right. So I'm going to talk just this past year with all the press you've been getting and showing up on like mentioned Gamescom, the Nintendo Indie World thing. I mean, all the eyeballs were on you. Like, what's that feeling like to get something out in front of people? And obviously we mentioned, don't read those YouTube comments. That's something we all know about, but like, you're out in front of like a lot of people when your video drops, your trailer drops, and all of a sudden you're getting, like you mentioned, you're getting bajillion requests. Like, Does it get overwhelming, or what's that feeling like? Or is it just like, wow, cool, I did it,
The first, I thought, it was gonna be hype all the time. Like when I got that first request to be on like a showcase or something like that, I was like nervous, and I was like I'm gonna make y'all this custom content and like custom, like here's like these new screenshots and this new trailer I put together just for you. And now I'm just like, hey, that's dope. Let's do it. Like they told me about the Nintendo thing that was a couple months ago. And said that I had to record a video. Other than sticking to a script, because I'm really bad at sticking to a script and memorizing stuff.
Sure.
I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and say these lines, and I had to do a lot of takes. It ended up being almost 100 takes before I got getting that. It was more of an audio issue.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it on my laptop and my phone and then microphones and stuff like that. That's when I ordered this thing. And even this thing had issues. It was like, it's not clear enough, and like you can hear in the video if you watch it that it still sounds like muffled. They finally gave up and was like, look, we'll just use whatever.
If you had to order a bunch of stuff, like just equipment for that kind of stuff over the last like year, just to
I ordered this camera. This is $100
nice
freaking webcam. I mean, it comes in handy, but after this, like sickness, disease in the air stuff is over. I don't know if you get in trouble for saying the name, but.
There's no monetization here. You're fine.
We're not monetizing. Go ahead, Logitech. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
After COVID's over, I don't know how useful a lot of this stuff was going to be for me, but
sure.
As long as it works now, it's all good.
That's all that matters. You couldn't find a webcam for like all last summer. It was pretty crazy. Good luck trying to find something. All right, so. It's coming May 19th. It'll be out on everything. You put a ton of work into it, and it's just awesome. Like I know Laura had a few comments from local folks too that were like happy to see, John, our good friend John. He's like happy to see Detroit Dev on there. It's just awesome, and looking forward to seeing getting our hands on the full game and really going through it. Because like I said, I've played. I don't know how many levels were on the demo because I died so many millions of times, and it felt like there were 50 levels to me because I kept dying so much. But that's totally cool. That tells you it's a good game that I keep coming back to it.
The game's not long; it's like 13 levels. So like, if you made it through the demo, you made it through like 25% of the game.
Very awesome. Cool. I did it. No, that's cool. I'm excited. It's awesome. It's great. The style is cool. It's totally memorable game. Nice. So definitely.
I wish I was like more like aware when like the demo and stuff came out. I got my COVID shot, the morning of the Nintendo stuff.
Did you go to Ford Field or did you?
It was I keep almost calling it Kobo. It was TCF.
TCF. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
But like I was out of it. Like I was like by the time like the Nintendo stuff happened, like I felt like nauseous and like I had a headache. I had to go lay down. I was on my phone like trying to reply to people, and they're like, "Oh, it's so dope." I'm like, thank you. I don't know what's going on. I pass out for like 2 hours and wake up and see all the like my phone's blowing up with people who like just caught the stream saying because they didn't know. So it was cool, but I kind of wish I just like got my COVID shot like a day before or a day after or something like that.
Yep, know that feeling. JJ, you went through it. I know a couple of the folks on our staff are going through it right now. So yep, can put you out. Sweet. So awesome. I think it's it's always cool. It's always cool. Great talk to Dev. Great talk. Is it what software or Dev? What are you using? Are you using Unity? Are you using Unreal? Are you using combination? Unity. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So you just finished up some of the Persona games. Let's I'm gonna ask JJ real quick. We'll move on to some of the stuff we've been playing and just plug a couple things from the news, and then we'll call it a nice earlier night. JJ, what are you playing?
I'm fully engrossed into my Resident Evil bullshit right now. I'm just
all the Resident Evil stuff that was announced today.
With Village coming out, I'm just like, I could go. I need to prime myself for Resident Evil. I need to get myself into that head space because like Resident Evil 7, I played that in its entirety in VR. and that's the only time I ever played it, and that like drained me.
It's terrifying in VR.
Yeah,
terrifying.
Yeah, I was emotionally exhausted by the time that game was done. So now I'm just playing it like normal, like a normal human being should be playing Resident Evil 7. And I'm playing the Resident Evil 2 remake at the exact same time. Like I'm popping back and forth between those two.
Oh wow.
It's weird how like different but similar those two games are. Like just to see UI prompts that are identical back and forth between the two is super, super strange. But I was watching the Resident Evil stuff today, and my hype level is through the roof for that game. The new Mercenaries mode, excited for all that stuff, and now Resident Evil 4 in VR is coming out. Which
you have an Oculus too, right?
I do have an Oculus too. Nice. So I just saw that and I was like, fuck, they're gonna make me play Resident Evil in VR.
That's gonna kill your battery.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. But
I'll have to play it too.
Yeah, I will play the hell out. Luckily, Resident Evil 4 is exponentially less terrifying than 7 is.
Yeah.
So
is it though? In VR, I can see it being a lot more scary.
I can see it being a lot more scary, but the way 7 is built around a first-person camera, so it really is just trying to focus you into a very narrow field of view. They really play into that a little more than 4, which went to a little more. It's not really an action game, but everyone wants to call it an action game. But it definitely went in a more action route. So the scares
you do more actiony tasks.
Yeah. So this, I am not looking forward to doing any of the Ashley stuff. Like again in this, but this time I get to experience it through his eyes directly. Like, no, crawl through the hole. But,
I wonder how that's going to be like, because I didn't like that portion of the game kind of, I mean, at all, really. It was a little more tedious.
The late game stuff gets a little more tedious, but like I still, I'll be interested.
You could wait to E3 and just play the remake. That's probably going to come out.
That's right. You're right. Yeah.
It's always weird when you see stuff like this, because clearly it's like there's new assets and stuff in here, but like, so clearly, like, is this stuff that's going to like be in the remake that we all know that is absolutely coming? Or I'm assuming
it's probably already done.
Yeah, it's probably already. I assume it and like a Code Veronica remake are like in the can, ready to go, or at least close enough to get that out there. Code Veronica is the one that sort of needs the update more than 4 at this point.
Sure, a lot of people are asking for that one. Yeah,
4 is like a lot longer than the previous 2 ones, though. Unless they get rid of all the Ashley stuff and the vampire, or was he a vampire? The little Goblin King dude.
Yeah.
If they cut all of that out, they can probably do like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I want to complain. I want to complain.
Just Wesker and that army dude chasing you with the cool night fight.
Yeah.
As long as I get that and the rooftop ending, I think give me those. We're good.
Yeah. But no, Resident Evil's pretty much. That and PGA 2K21.
Nice.
Yeah. That because last week they had the Aaron and Jeff were teasing their golf showdown that never happened.
Oh, that's right on the site. Yeah. Jeff Grubb and Aaron were gonna.
Yeah, that never happened. But
we're gonna have to get Jeff back on the show to explain why he didn't play.
Why he slept in.
Why he slept in. That dude's the busiest person.
Yeah, but it made me say, like, I like golf games. I should download that one. It's like dirt cheap right now anyways. It's
it's true.
$20 on Steam. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll play 2K. Whatever. I always want to say 2K like 1. Like, I'm like, it's like I got it on the Dreamcast. No, 2K21. So yeah, that's a really good game. And
I'm curious when they get next year with Tiger or even later this year. I don't know when the Tiger Woods stuff comes in.
Yeah, because it's already got PGA branding and it's already got a player branding stuff. So I can't imagine it changing a whole. I hope there's more official courses.
Sure.
Because like the cool part about it, because like this is the golf club.
It's the game, the golf club, yeah.
And so the heart of that game was the course creator. They give you really in-depth tools, and people are just making like one-to-one recreations of like your local golf course or whatever. Like, I live in the town where they had the Open one time at Chambers Bay, and so like I can, I can go to that golf course, but I'm not good enough at golf to like sit there and play on that golf course. So let me just play the course here. So I hope like they have more official courses next time around, because there's only like a handful in this one, like 8 official courses or something. So yeah, I'm hoping for that.
This is the longest I've ever talked about golf in my life. Nothing against golf.
There's not really, the thing about golf is there's not much to talk about with golf. It's a pretty straight, the entire concept is pretty straightforward, and once you sort of like, okay, there we go, that's golf for you.
If there was never like a NBA Street, or the EA sports or a street type version of that sport, I've never been interested in it.
There's an idea actually there. I think there's something there. What was Street? PGA Street.
Now see,
yeah,
I like that.
But that's the thing, like, because it's 2K.
There's your next. All right, I'm gonna contact Mr. EA and get him in touch with Neil to develop PGA Street.
No, it's 2K. So 2K does the playgrounds stuff. They have that NBA playground,
but they don't
the
do that stuff
WWE battlegrounds. Yeah. So PGA playgrounds or something.
Maybe.
No, they need to bring back that street brand.
Bring the street. I 100% agree in bringing back
NBA Street Volume 2.
That was so good. Oh God, that was so good.
That stuff was so good.
What was it?
They're better than live games.
The GameCube one where you could like play as Mario.
That was Mario Strikers.
No, but there was
they had
like,
Street.
Oh yeah. No, it was NBA Street.
Yeah.
It's just Mario in it.
It's nice.
Yeah, they loved doing that back then, like how they put like, and
DDR with Mario.
Yeah,
that logo, it was like throw on the screen. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. It'd be like, what was it? EA get in the game or something like that.
It's in the game.
It's in the game or something like that. And that sound effect, man,
that stuff is always that stuff is always infinitely more interesting to me than the simulation stuff. Like, I would much rather play NBA Jam, NBA Street, NFL Blitz over like Madden. There's just something like, I understand the core concept of this. I just want to have fun. I just want to I want to bend the rules of the sport till it's almost unrecognizable sometimes.
Yeah, you might as well just watch it on TV at some point, because it's going to be so realistic.
Yeah.
There we are, right there.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it. That's it. Love it.
That stuff is so good.
It's a good game.
It's so weird that arcadey stuff is just sort of like gone. Nobody's making that kind of like pure
I love those games, man. I would go to like the local mall over here. We had this thing, the mall here where I grew up, it's called Lakeside Mall, and there was like, we had this arcade there. It was called Tilt, which is like the perfect name for an arcade. And there'd be NBA Jam on one side. Right next to it was the NHL version that they made? They made like
Slapshot.
I don't know. It was Hits. Blitz, NFL Blitz, Hits. NHL Hits. Yeah, all those games were out there. Like just the crazy arcade version of sports games. And they were awesome. I threw like $20 as a kid.
Hockey, but I played Blitz.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What else you playing,
DJ?
Power
up and the
power up.
Yeah. No, there's just something so like satisfying about like, I only kind of have to understand the nuance of the sport to really get in here and just wreck house.
Love it.
I'm still playing Balan Wonderworld.
I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah, do not recommend it. But I can't put it away. I don't know. It's so bad.
It's like the train wreck. You got to watch the train wreck till it's over.
The bitter end. I'm going to be into this game. It has to have been a phone game.
That's the rumor that Zach was saying. Probably started off as a phone game that ended up as a.
It's so weird because like nothing's good in it. Like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't play good. It doesn't sound good. And
Man,
Like,
you just destroying somebody's like hopes and dreams out there.
well, I mean, this is the guy that made Sonic the Hedgehog. He can't make he's not allowed to just make an okay. It's not even an okay game. It's just so everything's a suit based power up, but like you can't just like it's like in Mario or any video game you hit the block, you hit the capsule, whatever, you get the power up. This one has this convoluted. Everything's locked behind a key. You have to go get the key to unlock the power up. That's a good idea in theory, except the key is never more than 2 or 3 steps away. Like, it's like, okay, jump, got the key and back, and there's no like pitfall in the way or anything. It's just like useless tasking for you to just like, it's just another step to get the power up that kind of only barely functions. And if it does and a lot of them are just straight ripoffs of like Odyssey power-ups and things like that. Different Mario power-ups. There's the one in Mario Odyssey. Remember the one where you're the plant and you like rise up?
Oh yeah. You keep growing or something. Yeah.
That exact power-up is in this game.
Wow.
Like exactly the same.
Copy paste.
Except the jump that it does is completely impotent. So it's like I don't even know what the point of it is other than to just make your head a little taller in the world. It's a mess of a game, and I'm trapped in it at this point. And it's a musical.
Oh, that's so right too. It's like a musical.
Yeah, okay. So like when you beat like
was this the game with the weird looking character with the hat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that game.
Yeah, so, yeah, because
I heard about it.
Everyone unanimously says what has happened.
I feel like in games we got to get used to like if we don't like something, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
like, that's always been my thing. Like if I don't like someone or something, I'm just like the worst thing I could do is not talk about it.
Yeah, it just completely like
that's true. That's a good point.
It's true.
If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, right? Is that what like?
No, it's just gamer like most gamers critiques are trash. They don't. They'll say I don't. It should. They'll basically take your game and say why isn't it like this other game?
That's a great point. It's a great point.
And that's the only arguments that's ever been made with gamers is like if you boil down, you can go to a forum, any forum. Look at the top argument of why they're complaining about the game. They say, "Well, Call of Duty did it this way,"
There's so many like they don't understand why they don't like it, other than the fact that they just don't like it. It's like it's okay to just not like something. You don't need to like dig into your soul and find a very specific, pointless reason why you don't like it because it's like, oh well, it's like it's a first-person shooter, so. Doom does it this way, so why doesn't this game do it this way or whatever? It's just
they don't need a reason. Like if they don't like something, it's totally fine to just be like, I just don't like it. I wasn't feeling it. That's all you have to say. Like I know my game isn't for everybody. It's a runner. I've told people that multiple times. I'm like, this game ain't for everybody. That's why I have a demo. Try it out. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, hey, more power to you. There's a bunch of games out there.
Thank you for making a side-scrolling runner because everyone likes to make those 3D over-the-shoulder runners like exclusively, and like I love endless runners. Like yours isn't endless, obviously, but like I love the feel of it. You do a good job at of giving a sense of like locomotion of speed and stuff in it too. So
it's only because it was so short. Because if it was a lot longer, I wouldn't have had time.
It'd be a little more difficult. Like and I appreciate all of that. Sometimes I don't need it to be a 4-hour experience or anything like this. It seems like it has the makings of being a game that I will personally love and recommend.
You don't want an 80-hour runner RPG.
It's like they put out that Crash Bandicoot.
Upgrade your shoes. They
put out that Crash Bandicoot one very recently, and it's just like
on mobile, right?
Yeah, and you're just playing it. It's like it's competent, but also like this clearly they want you to be playing it for 80 hours, and I have to unlock the skunk outfit for Crash. I can't wait.
Yeah,
like, no.
it goes to that logic of like, do you want like TV episodes that are really good 30 minutes or a okay hour?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I always go with the like, hey, give me a solid 30 minutes, no commercials. That I just enjoy the whole way through.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Give me 10 great episodes instead of 24 episodes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Balan Wonderworld, that's the last we'll be hearing about it from you, hopefully. No,
This is it. I mean,
okay.
I'm enjoying it in that weird sense. I've always been a sucker for just like this kind of thing where it's like, this is clearly a very bad game by a very competent developer with quite the pedigree behind him, and something went wrong clearly throughout time, but it's fascinating, and I'm not hating on it for like, I mean, because I think I have a feeling everyone knows that, like, even they did, because remember when the demo came out and they had all the complaints and they're like, we can fix like the controls and stuff, but the decisions that were made have already been finished in the game, which is a lot of like, oh, the studio isn't going to let them like actually fix the game that they know is broken at this point. It's Square wants it out the door, and here it is now.
Whatever gets attention off of Cyberpunk.
There you go.
Because I'm so sick of people like it's like it was almost a joke. Like people would just, like, I would wake up and see like multiple. This is why Cyberpunk's like terrible, but we keep talking about it.
It's like we know that happened in December. We're done.
Yeah. And it's not even like, and it was like, it wasn't even so much that it's a terrible game, because like on PC it was fine.
I played on PS5. I liked it a lot.
I didn't have a lot of problems.
It crashed every 3 hours on me. But if it was a consistent crash, so
there you go. You can time it. See, I got to stop playing at 3 hours.
At least the checkpoints were relatively forgiving enough to not really make it too painful.
But I feel like the games media is like, oh, we got blood in the water, like, and just wouldn't stop. It was ridiculous. Every other day, it was just some new giant story about some bug or somebody, trying to sue them or something like that.
It's when you start giving like, like when the blogs, when the like, like the games blogs in particular start just like compiling news stories about here's what fans think about, and just like start
that's the
copying and pasting of like tweets into like an article and just going like, my job is done today. Like, no, man, at least like, it's one thing to like delve into the the system of what caused the problems with it or something. It's another thing altogether. It's just like, it's a broken mess, and here's all the funny things that everyone was saying about it. Like,
it was a catch-22. I generally believe it was almost a setup, because like people like have such short memories, because I remember that last delay that Cyberpunk had, that they said, yo, we're pushing it back again. And everyone said, if this game gets delayed one more time, I'm not buying it.
I remember hearing that.
Said that they were pushing that so hard, saying this game would never come out if it gets delayed one more time. And like, what were they supposed to do? Like, I would have put the game out too, even if it was like, if it had major issues.
Yeah, and like, they're being pressured by the retailers and everything at the same time.
Investors, all that stuff.
Investors are angry, and it's like they were set up to fail. This with what ended up happening. It's like, because remember back in the day, especially with PC development, it was perfectly reasonable for it to be it's done when it's done, and never tell anyone an estimated release date until it was like about to go gold, basically. But like now
I'm okay with it. If we go back to that, I'll be totally fine with it.
Because
I'm good. I'm cool. Remember Fallout 4? That's like 3 months before it was coming out. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
That's great.
But like people said, Cyberpunk needed a whole nother year. Imagine if they delayed it a whole nother year.
Yeah,
like it would have been bloody murder.
The same level of outrage that happened with that because it came out and was broken would have been the same level. It would have just been the same. Like the outrage level would have been identical either way. So I think obviously, in hindsight, they probably should have just went with the outrage of.
Should have been a PC release.
If it was
on
just a PC release, as CD Projekt Red is they've always been a PC company. I don't think anyone would have. I think people would have been disappointed, but not, and there would have been angry people, but I don't think it would have been like universally like outraged as like it's coming to PC. You can play it on PC. It's gonna be great there. We still need to cook it in the oven a little longer.
It still would have been bloody murder.
Yeah,
but
it would have been. They would have
controlled a little better. Yeah,
they would have saved a little more face in the end.
Yeah, and then say, hey, we got some giant like bugs that we need a year.
You're gonna have to. We're CD Projekt Red. You're gonna have to trust us when we tell you this game ain't ready for you for your game console. Trust us, because remember.
Ready for the PS5, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was just like the last gen, man.
Yeah. Outside of the crashes, obviously some of the other stuff like the AI tracking and like the way the cars were like just on a set path, like little things like that. Like that was just deeper problems that as a CD Projekt, as a CD Projekt Red game goes, they fixed them along the way. Remember, like their first game, like the original Witcher game, when it came out, was almost unplayable. Like everyone complained about how bad it played, how the controls were terrible, that they eventually had to like rework it from the ground up and release it as the enhanced edition. And like it wasn't until like Witcher 3 where they became the company that they are now, where they have this pedigree, which is funny to think about because
Witcher 3, you remember like Witcher 3 the original game?
The original
game? It looked completely different. Like the UI was different, the outfits were different, the intro was different.
It was practically a different game. It's like, but it's like everyone just kind of forgets that part of of this studio's sort of like lineage. So it's so weird. It by and large, like Cyberpunk is a fun, cool universe and game to play in. It was like an overpromise, underdeliver in some things, but I also understand that this company is always going to be plussing the game up. So it being how it was when it launched, like outside of like the fact again it was crashing and it was unplayable on a PS4. But
man, that upgrade system is the most interesting upgrade system.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. It's
so good. It takes you a second to understand it, but once I got it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I just started dumping all my points into the right categories, and I was like, man, I need this every RPG. Like just copy and paste this.
It's one of those things where you also like. I'm bummed that they have to focus so hard on appeasing people now that we're just kind of losing out on what could be more of this game for who knows how long at this point. Because again, we should have, weren't we like this month?
It's been like a year,
like this month or next month, we're supposed to be getting the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game for download or whatever. Now it's just like
that's not gonna be happening. We don't know. Leave it. Let's move on here real quick. Anything else you've been playing, JJ? Or
no.
All right,
I've talked more than enough.
Well, for me, I've been today. This has been like crazy for a lot of people. A lot of folks know I work in the auto industry full time. It's just a crazy work week right now. So I've been like driving back and forth across like the Metro Detroit area from like one end to the other, and then like I'm kind of making like shapes on all the roads here, which I haven't driven this much in like a year. And so I haven't had a chance to stay home. So I've taken this guy, I take the Switch with me to play games and stuff. And obviously Bravely Default 2, I won't get into that. I've been playing that obviously still. I'm almost at the end though. But Pac-Man 99, started playing that. And I'm surprised at how much I'm actually enjoying Pac-Man 99. Like it's real shallow. I mean, it's like, it's Pac-Man. I mean, Pac-Man isn't like this great, deep game, but it's got some interesting twists to it that I'm kind of digging.
It's got its DNA with the Championship Edition games.
Yeah,
and
it does.
Those are the best Pac-Man games that have ever been made. So
yep. So I mean, I'm surprised. It's just I like those kind of battle royale online games on the Switch. Tetris 99, Mario 35, and Pac-Man 99. So I think that's good for me. I love those. And then we got that review code for What the Dub, which is sort of like the Jackbox style game, and I've posted a few videos on my Twitter feed. But it's freaking hilarious. So essentially, the way the game works is they play a video clip. It's usually like older movies from like the 30s and 40s and 50s and stuff.
Public domain, baby. Don't have to pay anybody.
Public domain movies. And then they'll have a caption running of what the characters are saying, and then they'll have like a section where it says voice unheard or voice is muted, and then it asks you to kind of caption it for yourself. So it'll be like one of the video I have going on, is that I have on my Twitter feed right now is basically like these two guys are on a space station. It says command station to spaceship Trissy. You were right. Confirmed. And then you plug in your text. Everybody plugs in their text. And then it actually plays. It goes through it and plays with this awesome text to speech. Like it does a really good job at interpreting it, and it makes it sound like they're actually saying something. And like the one video my daughter right away threw out, congrats, you won an SUV, and now we need your credit card info. And there's like stuff like that, and you don't know. Obviously, you don't know who writes it, just like any type of those, any of those party games. And you all vote on your favorite and that kind of stuff. It's very simple. I'm super surprised at how well it works, and it's become like the go-to family game. We've been playing it almost every night because it's just stupid, easy, funny. I have a feeling that it'll be great to play with friends if I can ever get humans in contact again. But so that's what I've been playing. Those two games. It's kind of fun.
I was gonna ask. I was like, why is it called What the Dub when you're clearly subtitling it? But okay, it's got text to speech.
It's got text to speech. Surprisingly good. Yeah.
So it's Mystery Science Theater 3000. But
exactly. Yes.
Jackbox.
So we mentioned there. I mean, there isn't a lot of stuff news wise. The biggest thing was there's a bunch of delays this week. That I wanted. I'm not going to go through every single one. I know Deathloop was delayed. A bunch of other stuff was delayed.
Man,
but
Deathloop was delayed. I'm so sad that the game that was coming out the same time as my game got delayed.
There you go.
I am heartbroken.
So there you go, everybody. You can pick up Never Yield. But no, what I was going to say. I mean, we mentioned it on the last few episodes. I think every episode we talk about every game that's getting delayed to later in the year. It's been the indie devs, the indie games that have really kind of stepped up, and it's really put more like spotlight on the work that like people like you, Neil, are doing. That is like, crap, there's no new game. Yeah, there is. There may not be like, the quadruple A blockbuster. I think that's the new term, right? Everyone's using quadruple A, but we have a triple A blockbuster in Never Yield that's coming out at that time too. But it's just kind of cool to see. There you go. No, it's cool to sing. There you go. Triple I, right? That's the indie thing is like triple I. But no, it's been cool to see like the indie side of things really step it up, because I've bought way more indies over the last year than I've bought like AAA, like a big budget, I should say, big, highly marketed games, because the indie stuff is just so fascinating. It's like, yeah, okay, Deathloop's delayed, bummer, but you know what? Never Yield is out, and there are like all the games that were announced during the indie direct yesterday and throughout the last few weeks and months. Like, there's tons of cool games out there, so it may be it may not be great for the folks that were expecting some of these ginormous games, but there are plenty of games, and now people are actually going to be able to be exposed to a lot of these games by smaller dev groups that are able to to shine. So I think if anything, it benefits like getting like I said, getting the spotlight on devs like you.
Yeah, the bigger games need to learn the lesson anyway.
There you go.
Yeah.
We just talked about this in Cyberpunk.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because they the little games always got second choice, third if that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this past year with less games coming out, people really got to go back and pick up some of those really cool indie games. I keep telling everybody play Blood Roots.
Yes, I played it I'm playing on the Switch. Yep.
Man, I like that game so much.
Yep. Yeah.
but just the indie games, they're the different ones. If you want to play as standard protagonists shooting standard bad guys, then sure, but that's literally every AAA game.
Yeah. I wish Nintendo does all these like indie showcases and stuff, and I wish that stuff would translate to the storefront a little better. Like
figure out the eShop.
They need
so you don't see Doom right at the top.
Right at the top.
It's like, okay, so top sellers is just going to show you like the first 5 choices are going to be like Minecraft and every Mario game and then what else, and it's like
it should be like trending,
trending, and they're they have a focus on indie stuff. They've done several of these indie showcases before. Just have an indie showcase tab, just or let me check a little box or something in the filters that just says indie showcase or something. Like, because you go to new releases and it's just like some days it's like nothing, and some days it seems like everyone hit the publish button at the exact same time.
I gotta tell you, it ain't up to people who make the game.
I know.
I was just as surprised as the release date of my game as you all were.
Well, with that said, make sure everybody hops on the eShop or whatever their digital platform of choice is. Check out Aerial Knights, Never Yield. And I think it's going to be awesome. It looks awesome. Try the demo out. Like you said, try the demo out. It may be your bag. You may not be interested in it. You're going to be interested in it.
It takes like 15 minutes,
it's awesome.
Free content. Who cares?
It's cool.
You're not hurting my feelings.
I love it. Neil, thank you again so much for hopping on with us. It's been awesome to chat with you. Rant. Yeah, anytime you want to rant, you're always welcome. Always welcome.
I love me a good rant. So
there you go. Yeah. And where can we find you for anybody that's maybe joining for the first time? Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, just check out Twitter. At Ariel_Knight.
See right there, and
just Google that. It's everywhere.
Excellent. And obviously, you can find. Just do a search for Aerial Knights Never Yield, and it'll take you right to him. JJ, thank you again. Where can we find you?
the_double_J on Twitter and DisneyCompendium.com, or type that into wherever you get a podcast. It'll show up.
You guys just did one on Frozen, didn't you?
Frozen just came out today.
Yeah.
Nice, and the last episode was our April Fool's episode, which I
saw that.
Had fun doing. We just stayed in character the whole time as a really obnoxious NPR team. Seriously treating the Disney family made for TV movie Mr. Boogedy as if it were
I remember that.
The Exorcist or something, just treating it like it's a genuine horror classic or something.
That was me watching the Disney movies Sunday night on local ABC affiliate here in Michigan. Was like
Michael Eisner coming out there.
Michael Eisner would come out.
It's a hell of a movie.
Excellent. And you can find me at Dolly Domofsky all over the place. I think my name tag somewhere right there.
There you go.
Okay, I found it. The camera is mirrored. You can find us at SideQuesting, sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV on Twitch, but you're probably watching us in one of those areas already. Again, check out Aerial Knights Never Yield, and it's been awesome. Thank you again. We look forward to chatting again in the future and finding out how everything's going with the game.
Yeah, come buy the game. Give me money.
Buy the game. Awesome. Take care. Thanks again. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode of the Side Quest.